Looks like we got a new app taking over the world. So I asked ChatGPT, what's trending today. Got some Twitter hashtags, whatever. Something I saw a new app called UpScrolled. A new social media app has surged to the top of the charts following disruptions on TikTok, gaining hundreds of thousands of downloads globally as users seeking alternatives. So I clicked on the link, but you got to subscribe to some bull crap. So yeah, it looks like UpScrolled, new social media app, taking over. I saw some stuff with TikTok. Looked like Oracle founder Larry Ellison was doing some sort of censoring of some sort of political content or something. So looks like everyone's done with this app and ready to move on to the next one. So let's get into it. So for starters, we just asked what's going on with TikTok. Looks like there's some, technical issues. Ownership shifted to U.S. Censorship allegations, topics that are like political, ICE operations, shadow ban under new management, data security. Yeah, I mean, the U.S. owns a large share of TikTok now, and technical issues means they're probably changing application features and going to find a way to track our data even more. That's no surprise. Censorship stuff, I mean, that's been going on for a while now. Facebook had censorship issues and stuff, so it's just another app, and they just don't want us to see certain things, and it's just feels like it's just more common now, is the freedom of speech slowly diminishing away. Let's see what this video says about it.
It concludes a years-long effort to ease concerns that it posed a national security risk. Well, for TikTok, it says it will operate under defined safeguards that protect a national security through data protections, algorithm security, content moderation, and software assurances for those 200 million American users. And
so, yeah, I mean, like I just said, a lot of changes on the app are going to be done, and they're going to moderate what we're seeing. I mean, tinfoil hat me wants to think, this is just all planned propaganda, that we're going to be stuck seeing certain stuff that is just going to, I'm not for TikTok anyways. Instagram's already turning into TikTok with the reels and just endless phone scrolling. And I just feel like that type of short form content's pretty useless in my opinion. And I do think there's good stuff on it. I do. But for the most part, everyone's glued to their phones now, constantly scrolling throughout the day. Check your screen time on your phone. It's probably over 8 hours a day of just constant phone scrolling. And as a society, we're lacking production now. I think it all started around the pandemic time where, social media and TikTok became all the rage. People are making these like voiceover song things with, dancing and stuff. And I think there was that girl that like made that like 6-second clip video, and she just got super famous from it. And everyone's like, I want to do that now. Everyone wants to avoid getting a real full-time job, try to make some sort of short form content and get 1 million followers and not have to work the rest of their lives, and just try to be successful doing that. And that's going to be a problem with, the future generations is, 10-year-olds now are getting iPhones and they're glued to it, getting iPads, and, parents don't want to pay attention to them, and they're just going to be scrolling on their own and seeing stuff. And I think it's just going to cause a lot of issues down the road. And, now we got a new app, and, that's going to be all the rage for the next few years until there's problems with that one. I mean, something needs to change. And I think people my age, adults and stuff too, they just realize, you're glued to your phone all day, and you're not going to be productive, and you're going to be stuck wanting that instant feeling of euphoria, or, that dopamine rush by watching the short form content. And it's all meaningless. There's some good stuff, usually in longer videos, but for the most part, a lot of this stuff's garbage. You got the edited videos of like these fake scenarios that aren't even real, and people are calling it out in the comments on, fake, and then people are defending it like, it's content, but people want to absorb that, which is the problem. And now you got this whole AI craze, all these fake videos. You don't even know what you're watching is real anymore. And that's scary, and it's kind of sad. It's like, and people are thinking this stuff's real. So I want to get back on the task at hand because I was kind of rambling, and I wanted to cut that short. Uh, but I actually did see in the news the other day, uh, there was a girl that sued social media companies. Yeah, right here. So, like a 19-year-old girl uh, said that, these social media platforms design addictive algorithms that cause severe mental health issues. And I actually think a couple of them are already in the process of settling with this girl. And if we go back to that video about the TikTok, listen to this.
What is happening as part of this is the U.S. is basically leasing the algorithm, and this release that TikTok put out, it says it will retrain the algorithm. So one question we have is, will that actually change the experience at all for people who use TikTok? We know that the algorithm is basically the crown jewel, the secret sauce of why people stay on the app, use it so much.
So yeah. I mean, just from that NBC video, I mean, the lady even said it. The algorithm is the secret sauce or whatever. And as the girl, I think she was what, 14. Now she's 19. So I could imagine a kid that age. When I was 14, I got my first iPod Touch, and that thing was all the rage. I'm playing all the games and downloading all these different apps and stuff. Social media apps weren't really a thing back then, fortunately. So I could imagine, the kids in today's day and age that are getting glued to iPads and iPhones, and, having body dysmorphia issues, and looking at people living all these like lavish lifestyles while, they're stuck in school or a classroom, and, their parents don't have a lot of money, and they're not getting all these luxurious things like all these other kids their age are. So I could see why that's a problem. And, you know, overall, my thoughts, I'm personally probably not going to even download this new UpScroll app. Um, I don't even really have a TikTok. I downloaded it and then I deleted it because I just, I don't want to get glued to my phone all day. And like I said, Instagram's already becoming like that too with Reels. You can do the same thing with Facebook now. Like a video will pop up, and you know, at the end of the day, I feel like everything's being recorded anyways. Your microphone's recording you all day, so when you open an app, something you're talking about, it's gonna pop up. Who knows if they're looking at your camera all day? I don't want to get too tinfoil hat with it, but you know, if anyone downloads this app or any new app, just be careful, and don't get glued to your phone. Try to stay productive. Stick with like YouTube productive things, or whatever app you feel like will actually make you a productive citizen, or just a productive person for your own personal goals. Don't don't get glued to the garbage. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and we'll see you in the next one.